All right. So, greetings. Let me know if you can hear me and if the video is working. Awesome. There's kind of a big delay, so yeah. So hi Val and Heather and Grace and Ian and Sage Mage. Welcome, welcome. So today we're gonna be I'm gonna try to finish painting this. I am not sure I will be able to, but I am gonna try. There's still a lot left to do, so And you, Dimension W. I cannot scroll back in the chat when I'm live streaming, so if you were not in the window of the live chat, I couldn't say hi to you because I didn't see your name. So hi! Hi everyone else that's not in the window currently. Yeah. Oh no! Well, it's kind of bad if having so many classes and they don't bring you to the point where you can speak a bit more than a couple of sentences, but alright, so let's get started on this. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start on this side. Yeah, the camera's flipped. That was one of the things I was able to fix. I might have lost a bit of the whatever visual quality there was because it made me go lower in resolution so that I could flip the camera. I don't know why, but that's what happened. So yeah, you're seeing the good angle and I am right-handed. So there. And like I was saying, since I'm right-handed, I'm gonna start on the left side of the painting and I'm gonna try to paint everything like progressing in the picture so I don't come back over and smudge stuff with my hand. As you can guess, this is completely dry. I haven't touched it in a week, so it had plenty of time to dry, especially in the winter because it's so dry. I am using the same watercolors I used last time, so the big M.Graham palette, and this is a Skoda Reserva. This is the travel version, but it's the same thing. It's a Skoda Reserva brush, and it's genuine Kolinsky if I'm not mistaken. And I also have the same brush, but this time in regular brush size, not travel, and this is a size 1. And I will probably use this to do the line work at the end. Hello, Dan. One thing though, the palette is not the same angle it was last time. There. Question: what names for kitty and mouse? I went with Twinkles for the witch kitty and Rogers for the mouse because it cracked me up way too much to call them Twinkie and Rog. And the witch aunt that's in the frame is going to be named Belinda because I thought it was fitting. If we end up expanding this kind of universe and there are more characters, well, I'm gonna go back to the list of names we had last week and pick some more names in there. Is sable better than synthetic? It really depends. That's why I'm using a sable at the moment, because I really don't know, so I want to work with both so I can sort of form a better understanding of how they work. The thing is with natural hair is that it really does hold more water than synthetic. There are some pretty fantastic synthetic, like for example, I have the Raven synthetic squirrel from Jackson's, and I kind of prefer synthetic squirrel to real squirrel because it's less soft. It has a bit more spring than the actual squirrel, which is so soft and limp that it's difficult to do like specific areas or details. But of all the fake Kolinsky I've tried so far, I think I might prefer the actual Kolinsky because it holds a super nice point. The problem is that I think the Kolinsky ones, I don't know, it might be me, but I'm not very rough on my brushes, but I've noticed that my Kolinsky brushes, they tend to fray earlier than the synthetic, but it might be something like I need to wash them and they will be fine after. And it depends on the brand. Like this one is super nice, and I have this travel Kolinsky by Da Vinci, and it's super fuzzy. I mean, it will make a point that is workable, but I don't know if you can see, probably not, but it has a lot of hairs that are poking out of place, and it's sort of annoying. So I guess the actual answer to the story is, to the question is, I don't know. I'm working on it. Yeah, that's the issue with sable as well, is that it comes from an actual animal, and it's not like a sheep where you can get wool without killing the sheep. Sadly, for sable hair, you have to use the pelt of the animal, which is really not cool. Indeed, a good sable brush should last you a long time, like this one I had last week. It was, it's been used before, like for many years, and it doesn't look like much when it's dry, but when it's wet, it works super well. So I don't have that many Kolinsky or squirrel brushes, and most of those I have were given to me by someone who had them before. Yes, ça va in French means how are you? Or if you want to translate it directly, it's like it goes. So Dan says, I have the Raven one and agree with you. I've heard the Escoda Versatile is a good synthetic. Try using a cheap synthetic to collect mixed colors. Yeah, the thing is that you have to switch brushes all the time, and I'm kind of lazy, but yeah, I have the same Escoda Versatile that Angela Fair uses, I think, but I haven't used it a lot yet because it's kind of big, and I don't paint big scenes. I mean, this looks big, but I wouldn't have any use for a brush that's this big for this painting. It's kind of overkill. But this is the Escoda Versatile. I really like white Taclon brushes for synthetic. I don't know why. I think it's the same as the golden one, but I kind of have a thing for the white Taclon brushes. I think I forgot to bring in swatching paper. The thing is with the Mimic brushes is that they're not available here, and I know I could order them from whoever sells them, but the shipping and exchange rate and customs are kind of disgusting, so it's not a good argument in their favor. Oh, that's perfect. I'm trying to mix dioxazine purple and anthraquinone blue to do the color of the cat's body, pelt, coat. Oops. Gonna go with this color. I'm probably gonna lose all my sketch lines with a coat this dark, but it's okay. I got a sketch, I can use that to reference and redraw them after. I don't know how they make brushes. I think that's something very interesting, and perhaps I should like consider researching that and putting time into seeing how they do it. I really hope it's a byproduct of something else, because I am not sure that the brush making industry has that huge of an impact if you compare it to like the fur industry, which is probably very bad. It's not gouache. I am using watercolors. This is M.Graham watercolors. I'm gonna be able to look at the chat in a few seconds. This is very... it's important that I finish this before it all dries up. Okay. Oh, that's... No, this is not the microwave, this is the washing machine. And yeah, if you see me focus on a small area, it's best to hold questions until I start speaking again, because I'm focusing and I'm getting some super ugly lines in the cat. I'm gonna have to try to find a way to fix that later. I'm trying to leave a small area around the face and the features, so I can use that to ink it later, because that's a bit more difficult to get right than, say, the line of a limb, which is overall not really that it's not that bad if I miss it by a few millimeters or something. While the face, if I miss it by a few millimeters, it's gonna look very derpy. Is it a lot harder to paint while streaming? Yes. Because I have to do two things at once. It's multitasking, so yeah, it's a bit harder. And I cannot put my face right over the painting as I would normally. Oh, black kitties. Question, what's the most compact set you own? There's a few that are fairly similar in terms of size. I think the Daler Rowney quarter pans is one of the smallest. The small bijou boxes are very, very small as well, but they don't hold for 18 colors. Yeah, the Daler Rowney one has 18 colors, while the other one can hold 12 half pan if you fill the middle row with more colors. But I mean, the most compact set is probably one you make yourself, because all you need is technically 3 colors to paint plenty of things. So you can make a super tiny compact set from a small tin and a couple of pans and 3 colors. The pocket palette is also a very compact one, that's true. It's really thin. Like the bijou box is the blockiest, but it's really small in terms of the actual size of it, but it's thicker than the others. The Daler Rowney one is longer but thinner than the bijou box, and the pocket palette is like the biggest in terms of like space it would occupy on a desk, but it's also the flattest. It's really, really super slim. Oh, hi Greasy! Question, what is the funniest thing your cats have done recently? Hold on, I'm thinking. The funniest things... I mean, they're always pretty funny and they kind of do the same jokes all the time, but... This is not exactly quite as dark as I would want it. So I'm gonna use a color that's not a black, but it really looks like one, and it's M.Graham's neutral tint. And it's really awesome because it's a mix of two colors. There is no black in it. Like sometimes you have neutral colors that have, I don't know, like a blue, a pink, and some black in it. And it works. Not saying it's not a neutral color or anything, but since it has black in it as a pigment, I really don't like making mixes with it because it's a bit unpredictable, or it's a bit predictable that it's gonna stay kind of dirty in a way. While this neutral tint I think is like phthalo green and one of the quinacridone pink colors. So it's pretty awesome, and I've missed a bunch of questions. Yikes. Alright, how many sets do you own actually? Way too much. I don't know, I don't count them, but I have a lot. The live should be called Cat Talks and Watercolors with Ev. Yeah, cats. All the cat things. Cats, 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 cats. I saw the video about the... There was one about the rusty spotted cat, and there is another one that I think it's like the black feet cat or something, black paws, I don't know, but it was I think it was on the African continent, and it was so cute. It was like this super tiny predator that would like hunt small things and eat them and bring them back, and its kitten was so hyped. It kept like jumping everywhere and being so happy just to be alive. It was so cute. If you asked a question and I did not answer, I probably just missed it, so you can ask again. Okay, so funniest thing my cats did recently, the tortoise shell one Scout, she likes to run around super fast and make weird noises. She does it often, but I think it's the latest thing she did was something like that. And Pecco, the orange one, likes to I don't know how to say it in English, but she will like drop on a box and roll around on it and make really cute sounds. So that would be the funniest thing she did recently. They're both asleep right now. Yeah, I think it was the segments from the world's smallest cat, from Big Cats, and I can only grab like the small chunk they put online, but it's always so much fun to watch. The footage is incredible, and the cats, they're so cute. They look like kittens, but they're super mean adult kittens that hunt birds and lizards and other things to eat. I like it. Question. What watercolor paper do you like the most? No idea. I'm not picky. I will work on anything and everything as long as it's watercolor paper and it can actually take water a bit. Like even the cheapest cellulose I'll work with, because I haven't painted all that much. So unlike someone like, say, Steve Mitchell, who has a lot of experience, I don't have a lot of experience. So I'm still building that up, and I'm using just about any and every paper I can find. It wouldn't be Caturday if we didn't discuss our fur kids. Indeed. Well, you can talk cat with me any day. I'll always talk cat, because cats. But yeah, I mean, this is Caturday, so yeah, let's make the best of it. The most of it. Something like that. Dimension W says, I bought a few days ago Buckingford watercolor paper. Not what I expected. The thought would be like strong cardboard type cotton, but it's floppy, but still holds watercolor. What weight is it? Question, did you get the Hahnemuhle you're working on here in Canada? Yes and no. I'm super lucky in that this was sent to me to try. And I have a couple of sheets and I have a couple of sketchbooks, and I'm working on trying the paper, so this is why I'm using it right now, is that I want to see how this paper behaves. I've never found it locally, but if I were to order some, I would get it from Jackson's. The artist's dilemma. Nice paper, not nice price. I agree, Grace. That's kind of the issue. And I don't know, it might be the local chain, but they don't offer like a very wide range of stuff in terms of paper. They have Arches and Fabriano, but like, let's say there are two what's the word? Anyway, let's say there are two stores from the same franchise downtown, and they're not that far away, it's like 10 minutes walk, but one of them will have a much wider variety of paper than the other one, and like one of them will have well, it used to have a lot more choices in terms of watercolor, but I think they've sort of changed it so it's better like in both locations. Yeah, so the good thing is that they're not far apart, so you can walk from one to the other if you're not finding what you want. But then again, it's kind of silly. And I should have waited before doing this because that's not dry. Alright, let's paint something else. Question, have you tried the Aquabee watercolor paper? What did you think if you have tried it? I tried the Aquabee sketchbooks that are made from cellulose. And it's not amazing, it's good sketch paper. And I have the B paper, the 6x9 that everyone talks about, but I haven't tried them yet. You're close to painting Mr. Mouse. It's already painted in the actually right now it's already painted, but perhaps if you're a bit behind on the video, it's not painted yet. Hold on. Oh, hi Kate. Question, have you looked at the handmade 100% cotton paper by Cadi? It's good and not too expensive. I haven't yet. I think the problem with it is that it's not sized. So I think it's a bit weird the way it will use water. I have a couple of sheets that I plan on testing eventually, but there's kind of a lot of things to test. So yeah, it's in the queue. It's gonna be tested one day. I just don't know which day exactly. I have some of Saint-Armand paper as well, which is the same kind of paper, but it's made locally, so I'm excited to try that as well. Hi Lee. No, I am not using my own paints. This is M.Graham paints. I figured this was a good occasion to use them, because they're in so big a palette that I tend to forget about them, since the palette is out of sight. Out of sight, out of mind. Question, how often do you use your own paints for painting? Well, when I do the small bird cards that I send with the orders, I always use my own paints. Outside of that, I don't use them that often, in part because I have a lot of paints to to try and review, so I spend a lot of time working with those. But that the fact that I don't use my paints that often doesn't mean that I don't fully endorse them. Aren't M.Graham watercolors slightly sticky in the pan? Yes, they are. Like very sticky. Some of them, like this turquoisey color, is like the most staining thing ever. But yeah, they're all fairly tacky still. Not enough that a small press will put some on my finger, but they are still a bit sticky. Like, yeah, they've been in there for a very long time though, so I think they're less tacky than they could be, but yeah. Well, alright, too bad. I keep on painting over the flame of the candle, so I'll just cover it and find a way to paint it later. I think I'm going to be using a bit of gouache at the end to recover some of the highlights on various things like the glass and possibly the crystal too. Sorry. Heather is more concerned about cat fur sticking to M.Graham paints, which is a very valid concern, which is why all my M.Graham paints are in covered palettes. And there is still cat hair. Yep. Ooh, another one. This one is from Pecco because it's orange and white. Yeah, definitely cat hair is part of every painting. Thanks for all the thumbs up, I really appreciate it. I think what you're hearing is the other tenant's baby crying in the doorway of the building. Because both my cats are sleeping soundly. They had their lunch. It's time for the siesta. And that's the phone.
Allô? Allô?
Spam again. I'm sorry you get so much background noise. It's kind of difficult to filter a lot of it out because everything that happens in the hallway to the building will be heard, and everything that happens in the apartment will be heard, and a lot happens on Saturdays apparently. Hey, hello Mickey. I should study the patterns of bird feathers more, because this is pretty much just random stuff. Don't feel like I'm doing the birds justice. Well, thanks for understanding about the noise. That's really, really awesome. If I could do something about it, I would. Question: have you tried Shinhan PWC watercolors? Not yet. They have them at my local store, but since they are very similar to Holbein, I kind of prefer to buy Holbein because they're one of my favorites. So when I have the option of choosing between one or the other, I often get the Holbein. Like, I've compared some of the formulas I like the most, like some of the colors, and I always notice that the Shinhan one has something weird going on. Let's say two similar color, one from Holbein and one from Shinhan. The Holbein one was just yellow and green, and the Shinhan was a yellow, a green, and a white mixed together. I think it was for something like leaf green. So yeah, I think I prefer the ones without the white. If I can, not that it bothers me all that much, but if it's available, I prefer one without white because I can always add it later if something needs to be more opaque. You mean you don't live in the middle of nowhere with your nearest neighbor 100 miles away? Oh, I wish. I wish. Maybe someday. When I'm like huge on YouTube. I'm joking. Alright, so I think I'm mostly done for the color pass. I don't think I've missed anything. I kind of want to get into inking the thing so that I can possibly finish it today. I say inking, but I'm not going to use ink. I'm going to use watercolors. Damn it. Oh, there it is. So for the lining up process, I'm going to be using the Escoda Reserva #1 brush, like I've mentioned at the beginning of the video. Yeah, not the best. Not super awesome with M.Graham. I think I'm gonna have to use this one to mix the colors and the smaller one to grab them, because the M.Grahams are still so soft, especially the ones I've re-wet before, that I get huge globs of paint and it's not super useful. Speaking of first set, question, what brand was your first set? Pentel, I think. Like super cheap, a bit nondescript watercolors that come in tube. Those were my very first brand of watercolors. Are they good? Not that much. They're not super pigmented, but I didn't know any better, and it was the only one I could afford, so I made it work. And I was not super skilled either, so it did the work. Sorry. Question. Not so much a question, but following up on the PWC topic, they have very bright colors, but they don't layer a lot. I think the very bright colors, when it comes to paints that come from Japan and Korea, are often mixed with a fluorescent dye. Like, I know my Shinhan Pass colors, they have some really nice colors, but I know they have fluorescent dye in them, even if it's not listed. And the laundry again. Yeah, it's the never-ending mess of the Saturday. I didn't even know Pentel makes watercolor. I guess they do. It's really low grade student stuff. I don't think it's even labeled as anything special. But back then I didn't know any better, and it was what I could afford, so. And that was many years ago. Many years ago. The struggle of having an orange cat and black pants. I understand. We have an orange and white, and then a tortoise, so we have all the colors of hair to make sure that we always leave the place with visible cat hairs on our outfit. So I'm not sure this will register as what it's supposed to be, but if you remember, it was meant to be a big bundle of catnip. Nepeta Caturday leaves drying. Yeah, maybe we should make cat hair brushes. Okay, let me know if you do the same, but I collect the cat whiskers I find. Like, not intently, not like this is my collection of cat whiskers, but I started putting them all at the same spot, and now every time I find one, I add it to the spot. So I've got a nice little bouquet of cat whiskers. The sepia from M.Graham is kind of really hard to re-wet for some reason, or very weak. That's odd. Perhaps mine is just old. I think it's kind of stinky too. You collect cat whiskers too, awesome. You must have quite a nice collection. Like, I have a good collection of cat whiskers too, so it's really funny. I don't know if those could make like the equivalent of a hug bristle brush. My brush doesn't want to keep its point, which is very annoying when it comes to lining up stuff. It keeps on splitting. It shouldn't be doing that, and I've totally done a line where I was not supposed to. We're gonna find a way to make it work. Whoa, kitten teeth. I've never managed to find kitten teeth, and I'm not about to go look into the litter box for them, because I think usually they eat them. So, well, you know where they end up then. An adult cat's teeth are really tiny, so I really wonder how minuscule the kitten teeth, anyway, those are. So I'm painting Belinda and her frame. Just adding a bit more shine to the frame because I messed up. Trying to make the mistake. The whole thing. Has anybody looked at the Netflix show that's called Rotten? The first episode is about honey, and I've started watching it. I'm thinking about it because I'm painting what is supposed to be beeswax candle. Oh, Heather, you're so right. I thought about painting with the whiskers, but I'm afraid of getting a good result. I don't want to unintentionally create a market for cat whisker brushes. It's a very valid concern. It's bad enough that they eat cats in some places. It's just so weird because for us, cats are not food. But it really depends on your perspective. I don't know if the Rotten show is worldwide. I have it in Canada, so perhaps. But it's really interesting. Like they discuss, they talk about how honey has been oddly in demand and popular while all the bees are dying. And it's kind of I haven't watched a lot. But yeah, so far it's interesting. Goodbye, Dimension W. Have a great evening. I hope you won't be the dinner. Yeah, the show is called Rotten. And like I said, the first episode is about honey and bees. But I'm like, I don't know, 15 minutes in. Oh yeah, Heather, I didn't mean that you had to go through the litter box to find the teeth. It's just that I was never lucky to find any on the floor. So the only way I could have procured some is via litter box, which is not about to happen. I'm only glad when they're done with it, because that stage means they will chew anything and everything. Like they will ruin books, and I have a lot of books. So it's not something I appreciate of that period. Is there any inspiration from Kiki's delivery service? No. Not really. It came, the idea for this image came from trying to figure out something to draw. And someone said, draw a kitty, and I was like, which kitty? And I was like, oh, a witch kitty then, haha. I am so witty. So yeah, that's what happened. That's how it became an actual witch kitty. And then we were goofing off and we added the mouse and the background. I say we because the chat has interacts with me while I'm painting, so they sort of influence the drawing too. It's like a collaborative. Anyway, it's a group effort. It is technically time to close the show. So yeah, I will finish painting this. Again, I was wondering if you would prefer me to finish this in the next stream, though there isn't that much to do still. There is a bit of there is the line work of the whole thing, and then perhaps a couple of touch-ups. So so yeah, next week I would suggest either finishing this piece if you really want to see the final steps, or we could start on a new piece, or I could just, I don't know, suggestions? So this is my first time in a live stream chat. What is the super chat button? It's a feature that allows a viewer to send money to a streamer. So if you click the super chat button, it will bring you to a page where you can make a small donation of your choice to send to the streamer. It's entirely optional. I have enabled it because it's there, but yeah. Well, I can keep on streaming, but if the mods have something else to do, feel free to leave. I don't want to impose the extra work on anyone. How long would it take to finish? Depends if I'm streaming at the same time or not. If I can focus on this, I would say, I don't know, anywhere between half an hour and an hour. Oh, Val, thank you. See, that's what happens when I stream for a while. Yeah, that's an example of super chat. So yeah, like I said, I can keep streaming this like an unofficial ongoing thing, but people can just go if they want to. There is no obligation to stay there. Oh, thanks, Heather. That's so nice. Thank you. So I see suggestions to finish this in a time lapse to upload later, to finish this later and start something new in this stream, or to just keep going with the stream. I will also ask this significant other that's working behind me if he's tired of me streaming. Gotta respect that too. Yeah, do subscribe to Val as well. her channel is really awesome, and she does a live every Wednesday. And even if I don't do pyrography at all, it's really interesting to see, to watch, to witness. And we always have a bit of fun in her lives as well. And you have to go there just to check out Bernadette, if anything. Bernadette is pretty awesome. And I managed to do the line. It's cute. Oh well. Okay, so hold on. Si ça te dérange, tu me dis. No, you're awesome, Val. We're all awesome. It's a fun bunch. And it's a great community, so there. Oh, and if you go check Val's channel, be on the lookout for all the videos featuring the torch. Because it is pretty awesome to watch something like that go. And there are sometimes marshmallows involved. Well, this line doesn't show at all. Aw, thanks, Grace. The torch. Grace is a fellow torch enthusiast. Someone is making Doctor Who jokes on the chat. I've never watched Doctor Who, but I mean, I can appreciate a joke like Torchwood. Very fitting. Aw, you can be my kitties if you want. Ev's kitties for the Caturday Livestream. It's cute. Should I make some kind of giveaway at some point to draw someone as a cat like I draw myself? Would that be fun, like for you as much as it is fun for me? Because drawing cats is always fun. There are some pretty mad puns in the chat. Like someone said that David Tennant was the best Doctor Who. And then, well, Dan said, and then Artsaurus said until he bought a house, then he became David Landlord. Which is funny. puns are great. Like, I think the most laughs I've had in movies were always for the stupidest puns ever. Like, really stupid stuff that you're like, no, not even a kid would be laughing at this. But I am folded into red, crying. Oops, I managed to do this the wrong way around. Good job. Good job. This kitty has a messed up hind leg. Oh, whoops. My reference is right there. I got no excuses for not checking it. Juste la beauté, hein? Ben c'est le lave, non? Another good pun from the chat. Did you hear about the guy whose whole left side was cut off? He's alright now. He's alright, meow. Aww. Well, speaking of Netflix stuff, there is also Terminator 2 on Netflix, which is one of my favorite movies. It's pretty awesome. My Grace is on fire with the puns. She says, once I get started on the cat puns, I just can't stop. Do these puns give you pause? This is kind of difficult to render properly. getting a bit difficult to keep a good thought together and work and talk at the same time. So I think this is gonna end soon anyway, just so I can keep coherent and stop making so many mistakes on the drawing. So next week it's gonna be a new drawing. We're gonna be sketching the adventures of Twinkles and Rogers some more. I'm not sure I will be doing speed painting of the finishing of this painting, but I think I might try to make smaller paintings in the coming streams so that I can more easily fit in the whole thing in less sessions. Again, if you have any suggestions or thoughts on the matter, you can leave them in the comments and I'll consider them, of course. It's not like I know what I'm doing. I'm not much experience in hosting live streams. Yeah, this is getting difficult. And the chat is still going on with all the puns. So yeah, this is where it's at right now. I'm gonna post a finished thing on Instagram when it's done. And the next week we're gonna be sketching digitally again on a new scene with Twinkles and Rogers. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for coming to the live stream. And I really appreciate all of you. And if you want to be called the kitties of the Caturday stream, that's perfectly fine with me. And yeah, if I missed anything in the chat and you really want to ask, you can say in the comments that it's gonna be easier to keep track of in the comments than in the chat, that I can follow when I paint. The soulless eyes are a little creepy, that's true, so I'm gonna make it a bit more soulful right now, and I'm gonna do the rest later. There. So yeah, thanks everyone. I hope you have a lovely weekend and have fun, and if you have pets, go give them big hugs, because pets are awesome. And yes, much love, and see you next time. Bye bye.